go live. Okay, we are live.
Great.
And only 1 minute late. That's not too bad with my computer crashing.
Oh,
Just
goodness.
10 minutes ago. It's like, oh, okay. And I have to see where I can actually see the chat. And I'm not there right now. I am. Okay, I see Jennifer is here. Hi.
Yeah.
And Katie. Yeah, should we introduce ourselves?
Sure. It's us
I'll
again.
let you start. I'll let you start today.
Hello, it's Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns. On this journey here to help in any way that I can, and looking into starting the Dr. Morse classes. I've already started my savings account for that. Got a little bit in there now, so we'll just keep edging our way to there. But I love all this gnosis, and I feel it in my heart and my soul that, you know, we're moving in the right direction, and I feel like it's a very exciting time. And I love spending this time with Toni and everyone else on the chat. It's just, I look forward to this every single week.
Thank you, Sarah, and we love having you here. A little about me. I've been on this journey to healing quite some time, and I've tried quite a few things. Probably the most as everybody. You know, you look on the internet and you look at what what should work, and it's all the magic pills that are out there, the magic solutions, and the detoxes. And for me, nothing really happened. I just got sicker until I met Dr. Morse and I started following his suggestions. And I say suggestions because we don't like to work with allowed and not allowed. It's like everybody is allowed whatever they want to do, even if that includes what we consider junk food. I mean, you're allowed. It's not helping you, but you're still allowed. And as long as I stay away from that junk food, I'm doing really good. But when I have a setback, which I had last week, and I had to cancel the show, so I apologize for that. It was like I got a kick in the butt. I had eaten for a week things that I should not have. And my body was like, you crazy. Here you go. Now you learn. And I did. So I'm on my juice fast again. And this is just the journey that we are on. Nobody is going to say, you know, it's easy. It's simple. It's really simple when you understand what happens in your body, what the food is doing, and what causes all your symptoms. But saying that the journey is easy, no, it's just simple. So we see somebody coming in, Shelley Allen.
Hello, Shelley. I was just going to say about that too, is that, you know, it just does show that even when you are on the fruits and you're eating well, kind of like you are, just the abuse that we have done to our bodies in the past, how even if you just stray a little, how your body can react to that, just because of how much damage we have done in the past. So
yeah, but let's not forget too, and this has been coming up the last few months a lot, and is the stress that we are all under. The stress from work, from what we have experienced the last 2 years with family, so many without worries, not knowing everything yet. And there is just so much stress, and stress will always set you back.
Oh, yes.
It will never help you.
Mhm.
Shelley, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Toni. Hi,
Hi.
Sarah.
Hi, Shelley.
Would I like
Welcome.
to introduce myself? No, never. I don't really like to talk about myself, but I am excited to say that I just passed the level 1 exam.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
There you go.
That's
I know.
awesome.
I'm so excited. I love it so much. And I just can't get enough of Dr. Morse's teachings.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the same here. Every time that you listen to one of his new videos, it's like, new stuff comes up, and it's like, oh, that is how it works. It's like I keep learning, and I've been doing this for 3 years now, and there's still new stuff to learn.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I listened to all of his old videos on YouTube as well, and I just go, wow, this is so fascinating. But I have a question for you, Toni.
Okay.
So I don't think anybody would ever hear this video, but I won't mention the person's name. But it's somebody I know, and they always brag about to me how they eat, whatever they want. But this person, I don't really think realizes how overweight they are and how horrible their diet is. And they always brag about how they don't exercise, but the doctor tells them they're healthy, but they haven't been sick in years. And I'm just curious, do you know, what causes a body like that not to ever experience the cold or flu-like symptoms like in years?
How old is that person?
He is, I believe he's 80.
Oh.
Yeah. And
yeah,
crazy.
I think that people who are of that age have a different start in life than we did.
Okay.
I'm not much younger than this person, but I was born in the 50s, and we already started out with the milk and the meat, but food was not as much on our radar as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But usually when people who are that age, they start having symptoms. But I have to say, I have very few clients over 70. I think maybe 2. And everybody is in the 45 to 55, 60 range, because that is when the symptoms start to pop up. Now, people can consider themselves healthy, but if you ask if they sleep well, if they have gas, if they have bloating, well, the questionnaire with all the questions that we ask people before we even talk to them, it's pretty extensive.
Right.
And I've had people, and that actually includes my husband. My husband, 67, works about 80 hours a week, then is home for 2 days, and long days, and he can do it. He would tell you he is absolutely, totally healthy. But when it comes to it, he snores. He's forgetful. He had I have to say had, because he's now on aura and mostly fruit. Had brain fog, had some kind of light blackouts, which are less and less.
Yeah.
And so there are, and teeth were bad, and clogged ears. And so when you add it up, you already had quite a few things for somebody saying, I'm perfectly healthy.
Well, you know what? Now that you said all that, I know he's not healthy. He just brags about it. But yeah, now that you say all that, I go, yeah, he is. I already know he's not healthy, but in his mind, he believes he is. And I'm not going to tell him otherwise.
Oh, no, absolutely. When I think the way that you feel is so important.
Right.
And for me, my whole life, I was saying I was healthy. I was overweight, but I was healthy. I didn't have a gallbladder anymore. Never wondered about the reason, but I was healthy.
Right.
I had herniated disc twice. I had a big cyst on my thyroid, but I was healthy. I ignored it. And
Right.
actually, maybe that helped me to get to over 50 and not having, the major issues. But after that, and I was in a lot of stress, it came all together. There was no way around it anymore. I could not say I was healthy anymore. And it was just getting from bad to worse. And the other thing is, once you go further into your courses, and you would do the iridology,
Yeah.
and you look at people's eyes, and it's like, oh my gosh, they have this and they have that, and it's like, but then again, even if a person claims they're healthy and they're fine,
Yeah.
I would not tell them anything different, because that is how they get through life, and maybe he's going to be 100.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
I was a caregiver for a person for 8 years, and he had prostate issues when he was in his 70s. He got blind when he was in his 90s, and I think it was in his mid 90s that I started helping him out, because he couldn't see anymore, and his wife passed away, so somebody needed to cook. But he lived till he was 103 and a half years old, and not feeling too bad. But the medical industry were doing whatever they're doing and just speed things up. But he ate meat, but very little of everything. So he was never overweight. He had a full head of hair even when he died. And his teeth, part of and half of his teeth were missing for a long time already. So that is not a sign of health. But even with all that, and probably if there had not been any interference from what, he could have lived another 10, maybe even 20 years.
Yeah.
It is, and he had problems with emptying his bladder, and so they wanted to put in what do you call that? He was having a bag, and he said, well, I don't want one, because I'm fine if I have to sit longer on the toilet. I don't have anything else to do, and I have all the time in the world. But still, they kind of forced him into having a catheter.
Yeah.
Well, that was fast going really, really bad. So there are older people. I mean, he was born in 1915. Life was completely different. His favorite drink was that, what do you call that kind of, buttermilk. Buttermilk, something I could never, even the smell of it. But it was always little bits, tiny little bits. And he didn't worry. He wrote a lot. He was a professor at a university. No, not really that much stress, and he was just taking it slow and taking it easy. And so I think that was actually quality of life. And I think when we get to a point with all our detox stuff, and we get to where it's no longer quality of life, then we need to change something. Because that is why I started with this website, Fun with Detox. It has to be enjoyable. This is how you have to look at life anyway,
Right.
seeing all the positive things. And what I learned by doing this is, the more I was on all fruit or high fruit, the higher frequency and the easier things became, and totally different outlook on life. Stress was getting less. You realize everything is for a reason anyway. You are where you need to be because you have something to learn. So that is my my view on life, and that makes it easier. So yeah.
What I was going to say is that we all know that 80-some-year-old old man that's a farmer that smokes 2 packs a day, that eats 12 dozen eggs a day, and it's still just getting around fine. Everybody always tells me that I know someone like that. Well, I did know someone like that when I was growing up, and he was an old truck driver. And come find out, he was only in his 60s, and we all thought he was in his 80s, but he still got around, did everything. And I mean, like 60 is not even old, of course, the closer you get to it. But I'm kind of like with Toni, like, they might have been, back then, not as exposed to as much stuff as we are now. But at the same time, we don't even know what we should look like when we're 100. From what I know, it should be something similar to like when we are in our 30s or 40s. But yet we've just been lied to about so much from forever, like generations, that none of us make it to 100 looking like we do when we're in our 30s. So we really don't know, because like we really are supposed to live a very long time, but it's just been so many generations and maybe even eons since anyone has, or the people that have made it that far, none of us have ever met them because they've kept them hidden in secret, because I don't know, but yeah, definitely. It's quality of life too.
True.
So yeah, they told me every time I walked into the doctor before, they'd be like, "You're super healthy." I'm like, "Are you sure? In whose eyes am I healthy?" But then of course you go and you tell them, "Oh, I'm going to run off and eat nothing but fruit." They tell you you're going to die.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. Whose eyes are they healthy in?
Right. Yeah. And when you guys put it that way, yeah, it's so true, because this particular person, he does not have the quality of life. I mean, he's maybe never been, quote unquote, sick with cold or flu symptoms in years, but he can't walk very far without getting out of breath. And he has hearing aids, and, but in his mind, he's healthy and he hasn't been sick. So I'll never tell him otherwise. But
right.
Yeah, when you put it out there like that, I go, yeah, true.
Yep.
might not have the symptoms, but he has definitely other symptoms that he's not even paying attention to.
And even if you told them, they would never believe it, just because they're not open to receiving it at this point anyway. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's their journey, and as long as they're happy, then everything is fine.
Exactly.
And the thing is, what I remember when I was a teenager and I saw old people, so people in their 40s, in their 50s, that was old to me. Then I turned, like 30, 40, didn't look my age. And like last week, I had some contractor here, and we were talking about things, and age came up, and I told him my age, and he was like, no way. I was like, oh, thank you. But it's like we have this idea about how we should look. Nowadays, we see more people in their 60s, 70s who look like they're in their 50s. I mean, my husband does, and they even think he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as they're not gonna tell me like, "How is your mom doing?" and then looking at me, because that would be bad.
I know we always think that, like, people think we're so young, my husband and I, and we'll see some of his friends, and he goes, "Do I look like that?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, I don't think we look like that at all. And plus too, like, how I feel mentally, but I do talk to a lot of people, no matter which path they're on, but mentally, like, I still feel like I need to, like, ask my mom, like, should I be doing this? Or my job really gives me this much responsibility. Like, I still feel like such a child. So, and it just feels good though. Like, you're always kid-like. And
yeah, that's funny. My daughter turned 21 last week, and I go, "So how do you feel that you've turned 21? She goes, "Like I did when I turned 12 and when I turned 18. And I said, "And you're going to say that also when you turn 52, you just, it's just your soul never ages.
Mm-mm.
I think that is what it is. I always say I'm forever 38. That was a
Yeah.
quote. I'm forever 38.
All right. Well, I'm going to hop off. Thanks, Toni and Sarah, for giving
Thank
me
you,
that
Shelley.
perspective. I mean, I knew he wasn't well, but I'm not going to tell him any different, but I was just curious.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And keep us.
when you start working with people have to come to you,
Oh, for sure.
that otherwise it makes no sense. People have to
100%.
realize they need help, they need your guidance, they need to know a little bit more, and there you are. And that will happen. That will happen.
Yeah. I'm just putting, I'm teaching what I'm learning on my YouTube channel, and I'm just putting it out there. And I've had people already asking me questions, and it's so much nicer when people come to you, because
Yep.
then they're somewhat open. But, through my years of different paths that I've gone down, I've learned that the hard way. You don't approach people, you let them come to you.
Oh, that's in everything, it seems like.
Yes, for sure. So anyway,
drop your YouTube channel in the chat, though. I would definitely like to be a subscriber and check you out and keep us posted on your journey. I mean, I'm so excited to start my classes. I'm hoping I can maybe in a couple of months. But yeah, so
yeah, they're amazing.
I listen to every one of his videos all the time. Anyway, I'm always going back and re-listening, and I always love that, he's like, well, I know I sound like a broken record, but.
And it's so awesome that he is a broken record, because
it's the truth.
Repetition is key, especially, they do the repetition in the public, I don't even want to say it. I'm not even
in the Babylon.
But repetition in something that you actually love to learn and want to learn is just so beneficial. So anyway, and just to let you know, I'm the Regeneration Ranch, but I'll put a post in the live chat. And,
Yep. I knew it, but I was like, wait, maybe I better just get it written down. And plus that way, if anybody else wants to know, they can see it there too. Charlie's also a broken record too. I mean, the truth is the truth, and it's simple. And people are always looking for, like Toni and I were just talking right before we got on. Everyone's looking for that powder, that pill, that whatever, or that science behind it. It's just so simple. That's why Charlie continually repeats himself. That's why Dr. Morse does and Toni does, because the truth is really that simple.
And I say that at the end of all my videos. I say, and I'm just like, I'm going to be that broken record, because eventually somebody's going to hear me say that, and they're going to go ding, light bulb.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, I'm going to jump off, but I'm going to keep listening, and I will, try to catch you again maybe next week, but I'm going to listen. I have other stuff to do though.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shelley.
Toni, I don't know if you've been seeing the chat, but, some people were kind of talking about, falling and whatnot. And, it's like eating a potato or whatever, and it doesn't taste good or whatnot. But what I was kind of putting back in the chat was that, it's a journey. I mean, sometimes when you go down that path, now you've maybe cured that thought you've been having of like, oh, I just want those potatoes, or I just want that. And then you have it, you experience it, and then you learn something new about yourself from it, or even something new on that journey. And then you so that it's okay to have those dips and whatnot. I mean, like Toni said earlier, we're not saying that you have to do anything. This is your path and your journey, but, don't beat yourself up over it. Just kind of take it in and take in how you feel, and, make decisions from that, really.
Yeah, that's how it works. And that is how we learn. We learn by mistakes.
Absolutely.
That's just it. Some are I was going to say, some people are a little hard-headed like me.
I've been able to step back a couple of times, and sometimes it is with me, but it's easier to see with other people, of course. But it's like, so these keep happening, like the same exact thing keeps happening, but it's a little worse every single time. And I was like, that is a lesson, and it's just getting more in your face all the time. And, so I can see those, and I have been able to see them a few times in my own life. And it's even with, like, say, correcting your child or whatever. And I can step back and be like, oh gosh, I wish I would have done that a different way. I wish I wouldn't have reacted that way. Of course, like every single parent thinks. And then when that opportunity presents itself again, it does not come easy by any means. But in certain situations, not every, I can be like, wait a minute, don't react that way. Remember how you felt last time. Try this way. And if you do that, it becomes easier. And I think that that's maybe like one of the tricks of life, is just being aware of stuff like that and trying to catch yourself each time, and knowing that you still do mess up, but that you're being conscious of it now, and there's an intent behind it. And so things like that. So that can be with your diet, or just how you communicate with people, or how you carry yourself, anything.
It's definitely an interesting journey, and yeah, I always say we keep learning and falling and getting up again, and we can do the same thing. I've been doing the same thing. I got really bad results, and yes, every time that you get back up and you see that, or fall actually, you see that the results are a little worse than before, until it is like, are you out of your mind doing this? And it's like, in a way, we are emotional eaters, and how can we get away from it? It's not about cravings. It's not really about, needing those chips or needing that potato, or no, I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's like, I feel now when I think about something that I really want, then it's like, okay, I'm going outside, I'm going to water the plants, listen to my water fountain, and do something else. Get my mind off of it, because my body can do without, my body doesn't need it.
Yep.
And yeah, I hear a lot about parasites, and that can definitely be an issue. I haven't experienced it. I have used parasite products. I'm not one to stir in the pot, to see what is in there, what's floating in there. I've never done that. I see people even have pictures of whatever comes out. I have never done that.
I am not curious, so when it comes to that.
It's like, okay, I do a parasite cleanse for a month, and then they better be gone.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We did have a question over on the Freak Sense World, the group for the Q&A. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it or not.
Yeah.
But he says, a close male friend, family member, 72 years old, suffers from Lewy body dementia. I'm no expert, and there is not much to know about the disease, but I understand that there are certain evil proteins in his brain stashing up. When months and years pass, he is slowly but steadily losing memory and ability to think properly. I need to hit read.
So they gave it a new name that of course cannot be cured.
Yep.
Well,
and he will not change his diet, he says on here too. He might get him to take some herbs.
Yeah, no, that if you, it makes no sense to keep eating what got him at that stage, and then trying to add herbs as a treatment. That's not going to work. I mean, dementia, forgetfulness, senile, they have words for everything. I mean, I think many years ago it was called, somebody got senile, nobody talked about dementia. And now it's other things. There are other names for it. It is, you have brain fog, okay, you have stagnated lymph, you have an acidic diet, an acidic body, there you go, change your diet. Get, and probably using a lot of pharmaceuticals, and that's not really helping either with the health. And yeah, so, but the question is if this person does not want to change its diet, he or she must like what is going on. This is actually what Dr. Morse would say.
Mhm.
If you don't want to change, you must like your pain. That's
Mhm.
it. And
Absolutely.
there's nothing that we can do. We can, even if it would be close family, it's like if they insist of not wanting to do it. Now, if I would have a person in my close environment and I would be able to cook for them or prepare their meals, this is what I did with a person that I took care of. I made meals that were, first of all, were organic. I started with more vegan food actually, and him not even realizing he was not eating meat. He was eating what was it called, jackfruit.
Mhm.
It's it's stuff like that. But if you cannot do that, and that person where you have no, you cannot do anything for them, and you cannot talk them into it. The thing is, as long as they can still have control over their mind, but he can say that he doesn't want to eat or change his diet, I would find Dr. Morse videos and show it to them. I have done that with a family member one time, and for her it was no, I'm not a doctor, and I will never be. I don't want to be, and that's where it ends. It's their choice. So you go to, it's their journey. If this is what they need to be on, then that's it. It is great that there is a person in his life who knows better. The one, that I don't know the name of the person who put that message out, but yeah,
It's
it
Philip.
is planting. It is again planting seeds. That is actually
Mhm.
all you can do. Because if I would, okay, I have a very dear friend, and she knows about what I'm doing. She likes what I'm doing, but she can't do it herself, although she's probably halfway or sometimes even more than halfway. But there is still a lot of meat and dairy and eggs in the diet and all cooked food. So, but at least there is more fruit in it. But she knows. So now it's up to her.
Mhm.
Will he ever get to all fruit? Maybe when the pain is stronger, and maybe not. Then this is just what her life has to be. And it may sound hard and harsh, but this is just how it is. We cannot
It-
change anybody else's life. We can't.
mm-mm.
We can
No.
teach, we can share, and if it's not meant for them, then it's not.
And if it's not meant for them, maybe it's meant for you.
In what way?
Meaning that you watched them go through it. You saw what it does to them. You see what it does to the family afterwards as well too. So what can you do to change your life so that way that doesn't happen to you? And how can you your experience then pass on to your family? So for example, if Philip's watching this and Philip decides to change his life and he starts going on this
Okay, I
fruitarian
see
diet.
what you mean. Because
Yep.
if it was for me, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
yes. Well, what it was teaching me actually, that I have to respect anybody's choices and definitely not push, and love them anyway. It
Mhm.
is not about which direction a person goes into. The love is always there. And no disappointment. And for myself, live in the now. I can't change it. Well, I can. Am I changing people's life? Yeah, by sharing to people who want to listen, who are ready for it. So that is a change, and that is what you can do. But maybe someday, I always see it as planting a seed, and maybe someday, they are ready for it, and they will say enough is enough. Because I had to go through anything and everything that I could find. And whatever was on the internet, I've tried it out. And from the people, telling you to follow because they are healing, to the keto and all the caveman diet and God knows what else. I've tried it to a point that I had a dear family member tell me I had well, I had something very wrong with me. But it is what you do if you want to heal and you know that the doctors are not helping you and only can put you on a ton of pharmaceutical, then you start looking and at some point you come across something that is working. And for me, it was, what Dr. Morse was teaching. And the way I look at it now, there's no way I could ever get away from it. Not with any powders and pills and in whatever. It's like, this is it. Do we have poor soil and is the fruit not the quality that it was? Yeah, it is. So what am I doing? I try growing something myself, which is not nearly enough. I could probably I think the fruit yield I will have this year will probably enough to last me a week
Yes.
in total.
I think about that too. I'm like, how big of an orange grove do I need?
Well, you know what? If you feed and water your plants enough, then you should have yield from your fruit the next year. And I have seen people that started a fruit and food farm, and mostly fruit. And after 3 years, it was like, oh my gosh, that wasn't only 3 years.
Wow.
So it may not be today that you have it, but if you have the space or can have the space or share with people, do it as a group, then oh my gosh, you can reach amazing things. So yeah, with a lot of things we have to live in the now, but with some things, I think we need to prepare for having the food that we need and start planting. And for everybody who lives in the city, it's not where you want to be anyway, if you want to be healthy.
Need that fresh air.
Yeah.
Yes. No, we go through, I think I was saying last week or so, the three of us go through 111 oranges currently right now, and that will double. So we've been taking in orange juice and daily, and I cannot even say how much I have missed it. I absolutely love my orange juice.
Well, I found a huge seeded watermelon. It was the only one they had on the farmer's market.
Wow.
And she was, you want seeded or unseeded? They had a whole bunch of unseeded. I said, I want the seeded one. She said, yeah, but it is really big. Well, I could take it anyway.
I will drink it.
Yeah, we cut it up and we juiced it. I had 8 liters of juice from a $12 watermelon.
Wow.
I mean, that lasts you like 3 days.
Absolutely. Watermelon, I do not like to eat watermelon, but I love watermelon juice.
Yeah, I don't like to eat it either. Before I forget, and before I get into Grant's answering Grant's question, Katie had a question in email, and that was even last week. It was about sun gazing, and a lot of people do it and talk about it, and I have not done it. I found it a little scary, or I'm not up early enough. But yeah, actually in the last year, I'm up pretty much at 6 o'clock. So that is about when the sun comes up. With the sun gazing, I would not trust it to look straight into it, but you can have your eyes open and that the sun shines directly in your eyes without you looking directly into the sun. And when I'm outside in the sun, I wear glasses, then I do take off my glasses. So the sun has a chance to hit the eye. So that is what I don't know what in what way sun gazing would help. And actually yesterday I was listening to an older Dr. Morse video, and he mentioned sun gazing. And he was saying the same thing. Be careful with looking into it so you don't burn your eye. So I would never look into it because I don't want to take any chances with that.
Right. I wore sunglasses for years, almost like everybody did. But in the last couple of years, I definitely try not to wear my sunglasses before 11 a.m. And then at like the peak of the sun, depending on what I'm doing, I will either still wear sunglasses or I will have maybe like a visor or, something like that. But then towards the evening, then I always try very hard never to wear sunglasses either. And just allowing, it to be more natural. But I will sit in the sun with my eyes like shut and just kind of like, enjoy the sun, but I never stare at the sun
No,
either.
no. That is a funny thing, actually, because I was always wearing sunglasses. And when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, I had actually tinted glasses. And then I wanted to get away from that because it didn't seem natural to me. So I have regular glasses again. But, and I was always wearing sunglasses. And they looked pretty. They looked pretty.
Again, they push sunglasses. Everyone wears sunglasses and
Oh,
everybody has
yeah.
10 pairs of sunglasses. I've
Yeah.
had one pair of sunglasses for probably 5 years.
Well, I have prescription sunglasses.
Well, yes, that's
so
different.
we're talking about $400 sunglasses.
Ooh.
And but I haven't had them on in the last 3 years, and that's actually since I started with the high fruit. I absolutely don't need them anymore.
And you live in Florida.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. Don't need them. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually did not wear my sunglasses much when we were in Florida because my face was kind of sweaty, and where my sunglasses would sit on the rim of my, like the bridge of my nose, it was hurting. So I did not wear sunglasses while we were in Florida pretty much the whole time. So,
It's but there's a change in your eyes too. I could never see good at night, so I was always considered night blind, and I started on the all raw and high fruit, and I was like, oh my God, I can see contrast at night again.
Yep.
Now,
people used to accredit that to carrots.
I don't eat carrots.
I don't either. But they say eat carrots makes your eyesight better. No, it'll just kind of turn you orange.
I don't know. I don't know if we mentioned that before, but the last week there was a lot of talk about hybrid foods, and to stay away from hybrid foods. I mean, Dr. Sebi is big on that, but he's also big on supplements, and or his family is, and cooked food. If it's alkaline, but it is like when you think hybrids and you want to stay from all the hybrid foods, you really look into what is a real food. Is the fruit that you are eating or the fruit trees that are out there, are these not hybrids? Is a hybrid anything that has been crossbred? Because that is considered a hybrid. Well, then I can assure you that nothing that you eat is original, and it's all hybrids. And then, for whole, groups to come out to not eat hybrid foods, I'm like, well, good luck. Because that crossbreeding with fruits and foods has been going on for so long that not even a pineapple can grow on its own. It needs people. Avocado, same thing. It doesn't grow in the wild, and I think it's mostly our herbs that grow in the wild. Because I can tell you, where I lived in Holland, those nettles and dandelions, they popped up everywhere.
Yep.
So that is one worry that we should not have, should not have. It's not important.
Right. Just bless it and keep your intent good. And, God will, care for you, as long as you're trying to be virtuous with, what you're eating and how you're going about doing it as well.
Absolutely. Now, Grant asked, do we consider tomatoes and cucumbers a fruit? Well, it's considered like a veggie fruit, like it has seeds, so it is considered a fruit. There's always something going on about the nightshade family. Some people do not well on tomatoes, others do. I heard Dr. Morse say once, if you want to eat a tomato, then, once in a while, the cherry tomato. I don't know why that one is better. I have been growing them. They're actually even smaller than the cherry, the ones I'm growing. They're good. They're sweet. But yeah, you can eat them yeah, I would actually say that you can even eat them on a detox. You know, they won't hurt your detox, or they won't hurt you. But be careful, you know, listen to your body.
Mhm. A lot of
And
people belch with cucumbers.
I don't like them,
Mm-mm.
and I don't know why. I never like them. I don't like the juice. I don't like them to eat as is, or in I don't like them, so I don't eat them.
Yep. Mhm.
It's yeah, and everything is picked green now and artificial ripened. Yeah, I see that with bananas even, and it's so not needed. But because they pick the bananas really ripe, and then before they hit the stores, they are being sprayed with something so that they show the what is it, the brown spots, and then you think, oh, they're ripe, and you open them up, and they're not even edible. So yeah, that happens. So I do go more and more to the farmers markets. It's out here once a week. I know a few of the farmers, and I know what they have. For the fruit farms, I have to go a little bit further to find those. But that is, yeah, that's what we need to do. And I'm so sorry that I still haven't been able to get into setting up on Friesland's World the groups for and locations for where we can get good fruits and maybe even herbs. So I will work on that.
That'd be good. Yep.
And Shelly is a baked butternut squash, healthy to eat with a salad for dinner. It's cooked, so yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's if it is unhealthy, see how you feel, see how you bake it. You just put it in the oven, I assume, and you have to try it out. It's not a detox food. That's one thing that's for sure. And like the once in a while, you know, like the list that with the mucusless foods, where you see 1 to 7, all the alkaline foods that you can eat in sparingly, some because they are slightly mucus forming. So you have to look into that.
I wonder, is she wanting the butternut squash with her salad because she's not feeling full from her salad? That could be something too. But from what I know, the sweet potato would be the closest form of any kind of squash or potato we should kind of stray into if you are going to kind of go that route. Do you
Yeah,
know?
but it's still starches.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. Butternut squash is like very sweet and good, but again, like, why are you feeling hungry? Is that why you feel like you need to add that to your salad? I do remember, I can't remember exactly who was doing it, but it was somebody on YouTube. They would add potatoes into their salads to make them more filling. But are you looking for that bloaty feeling? So where you feel full that way? Is that what you're getting from the starch of the potato? That would be another question.
of course, I had to look this up, and that is how to use raw butternut squash. And if you type in raw butternut squash recipes, I did it actually, this is DuckDuck, I think. And then you get a video, 3 ways to doing it. Raw food recipes, butternut squash puree, a soup. One is from recipeshappy.com, and it has raw butternut squash recipes. So I would look into that first if you want to eat it, and see what you can find.
Yeah, she's saying she doesn't live in that area, so there's like no local bananas, or doesn't live in an area with a lot of fruit.
I don't have local bananas.
Or last year's apples, some oranges, non-local. Yeah, I don't eat local anyway. I mean, if they sell it at the farmer's market, what I want, yeah, but I mean, we don't have oranges that grow here. I know our oranges are coming in from California or something like that. But yeah, like frozen fruits, Eastern. Oh, she's in Eastern Europe.
I don't think it really makes a difference. We want all the varieties, and it's sometimes I hear people, yeah, but I'm up north. There's not that much fruit out here. Well, trucks are going everywhere and delivering fruit, and I can tell you, I'm not really what is it, happy with what is being offered here. And oranges, I've never had a Florida orange. I live in the middle of the groves. The groves are everywhere. They're not for us. No organic oranges either. They go into there's right in town there's a factory for the orange juice, all those well-known brands. They're all around here. That's where that stuff is going. We have California oranges. We have bananas from Mexico, definitely not from Florida. Pineapples, we had a pineapple from, I think it was Peru. So yeah, you could think if you live more in, this is the subtropics, so I planted a banana tree now, and it has these little, well, it doesn't have anything yet, but we hope that at some point it has these little sweet bananas. But it has to grow first. But it is we do what we can get, and I pretty much live on apples and orange juice and berries. Apparently it's berry season, and the organic berries tasted great. Last year, the whole year, they had no taste, not even the organic ones. Now they were great.
Wow.
So yeah, and they were on sale. What they consider on sale was like 3 containers for $10, and otherwise they're like $5 or $6. So yeah, they were for sale. And then I get a whole bunch, and then I eat berries, and otherwise I go into the frozen fruits.
I actually saw there's a place called Parkside Farm. And I have no idea, but it's Parkside Farm in Enfield, Enfield, and that is in the UK. They have amazing looking berries, blackberries, and all this other stuff. I actually saved it because I was like, I'm going to find this farm and go to it. But once I found it was in Europe, I was like, well, I will not be going there anytime soon. But yeah, they have, their farm looks amazing. They do have all kinds of fruit.
Well, there is a beautiful farm it's called Miami Fruit. You can't even go there. They only ship it out. They ship it all over the US, but it is expensive. Yeah. But they have absolutely good fruit. And so if you ever want to look at that and you want to treat yourself to something really special, then find Miami Fruit. I think it's just miamifruit.com. They have always specials going on and deals, but and you can even Google or however you do a search online. There are always local farms that you're not even aware of.
Yeah.
And where I live, they actually had in the well, they call it the common ground. They had about a dozen orange trees. But when that greening disease came in, they took them all down. And I had a huge grapefruit tree in my backyard. And same thing, it was taken down.
Yeah, that's
that and they didn't replant anything like that. Yeah, a bunch of bushes. That was it.
Imagine that.
Maybe one day I'm gonna try to get them to plant more fruit. But yeah, somebody has to work it, and I don't have the time to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think even locally we could set up communities. I remember when I was young. This is kind of funny. It was for people who lived in the city or didn't have enough land to plant anything, and always right next to the railroad tracks in Holland, people had these little plots with what do you call it? A small shed on it. And they were going there in the weekend and they were planting whatever they wanted to plant. And they're all gone now. You don't see them anymore. And, because everything that you wanted, you could buy at a grocery store. But wouldn't it be great if we can go back to that?
Yep.
And it makes me think about what was going on in Orlando. That a lady there, she had her front yard, and it looked very tidy and neat, and she had all vegetables there, vegetables and herbs, and it looked great, but it wasn't flowers and grass. And that was an issue with the city, because there was an ordinance. It had to be grass and bushes or plants, but you could not have vegetables there. And so that was this is a really, you can probably find it on the internet again. This was probably 3-4 years ago, maybe even longer. And it was a big thing, and it was in the news. And with that lady, one day the police came and they took everything out. They
Oh my
completely
gosh.
wrecked it. So a whole group of rather young people, they protested and protested to a point that, and they found that they didn't. It's not law that you couldn't have that in your front yard. It's just what do you call these things? A mandate.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
is
you'd
not-
think it's food. How can you take
Yeah.
food from somebody?
Yeah, well, because it didn't look nice. The neighbors didn't like it, and the neighbors complained. That was the whole thing. The neighbors complained. So, but now in Orlando, yes, you can plant veggies in your front yard. You can plant foods in your front yard. And there is a group, and it's young people again, and they go around helping you with planting that food in your yard, and then they get part of the yield, like 10% of what is planted there, and the rest they can give away in the neighborhood, or the people use it. But if there is more, then it's just been shared. And that is where we need to go back to. I mean, look at all these useless grass lawns everywhere. It's crazy,
Yeah, I actually learned something about that too, with like the daisy and the daisy flower. The bee, that is some of their very first source of food when they first emerge in the spring. And the fact that we have gotten rid of all of them and killed them off with the Roundup and everything like that too. People were like blaming it on cell towers and what, but now there's research coming out now that it's the daisies are gone and the bees have nothing to eat.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, daisies have all kinds of benefits, but I mean, that's a huge one right there, is the bees.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen bees in my yard, and I have been planting flowers for them, and I haven't seen them. And even the wasps that were, there were a lot 10 years ago, I don't see them. This year I have not seen one butterfly. Last year I saw twice a butterfly. Yep. And 10, 15 years there were always butterflies everywhere. So yeah, a lot has happened that's not good. So and we cannot wait until the changes come. We are the change.
Yes.
We have to make the changes. I live in a 55 plus community, and you have to have HOA permission to plant anything or anything. You have to plant trees and bushes. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm not going that route. I put everything in pots, in big pots. And it's not in the rules that you cannot have whatever you want in big pots. So now I get like, you have quite a few plants, don't you? Yep.
Oh, geez. Yes, I do. And guess what? They're all in pots. What they'll probably do then is they'll be like, oh, we need to reevaluate these.
Yeah, well, they probably do. And then they have to grandfather me in, because I have been here 17 years. So,
yep.
And it's kind of where I live. It's kind of quiet. It's a safe area. And, I'm not worried. I'm not going to stay here. I mean, it's like we now bought the house, we're fixing it up. And then maybe in 4 or 5 years, when my husband really retires, if he wants to retire, then find our 10 acres somewhere and start the fruit farm. I mean, it's but for now I do what I can do. But I also have people driving by and stopping me, telling me how beautiful my yard looks.
Exactly. So that's a bonus for sure. We
Yeah.
have the wasps that they build their nest, and I don't bother them. And they like they do come and they kind of like look at us and stuff like that. But I think those are like the guard ones or something. And then we have, I think they're wood boring bees. I don't know where they're like actually boring into, but I've never seen anything visible. So maybe they're just somewhere, maybe like at a fence or something. But they even fly down and they get like real close to us and stuff. And people like freak out. And I'm like, they're just like the little guard bees. I mean, just let the bee be. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we never, do anything like that. But the one thing we do have, which is the coolest thing, is we have monarchs that come and they build their cocoon, or they attach their cocoon, whatever the term is, and it turns this beautiful jade green color. And it looks like it has like little jewels on the front of it. And then they turn into the butterfly and they leave. And as we watch them, they come every single year. We get one or two. And as you watch them, you can even see them changing in there, and you can see their wing color and everything through it. I've never seen one emerge though, but all of a sudden one day I'll come and they're gone. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Take pictures.
Yes, I have some. I'll send it to you. Oh,
Yeah.
it's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's these little things that make our lives worth. I see it as worth living. These are the things that I enjoy. If I see in some the butterflies I saw last year were the yellow ones, you see them more than the monarch. We did see monarchs here, and they were two, and they were like, like they're following each other and going back and forth and playing, and it's like that makes my day. That makes me happy. It's the little stuff that we need to enjoy, and this is, for me, this is one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Well, people, we are past the hour again. If
Mhm.
if there are not any more questions, I don't know if we missed anything. You
I
probably
don't
did.
think
If
we
you are.
have, and thank you all so much for your questions. And Shelley, we really wish that you do find some good fruit in your area, but again, just do the best with what you have, and put your good intention there and infuse God into your foods. And just, you can only do the best that you have the ability to do, or what you have at your hands to work with.
Yeah, trust that it will be good. I think we need to have the faith that it is good for us.
And you are where you are supposed to be. So that's the other part of it too. Even if you think like, oh, I don't have all this access, there's another reason why you're in that area as well too. So again, just infuse God in everything you do, and know that you are where you're supposed to be. Live virtuously, and amazing things will just unfold in front of you. And eventually one day you will be able to stand back and see the tapestry of the life that you have woven.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Now I don't have anything to add to that.
Sometimes I get those little things that I actually sound like I know what I'm talking about.
You do. And thank you so much for that insight and your
Of
gnosis.
course.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
And thank everyone for being here. We love you. It's always a joy. This makes my day again.
Yeah, me too. And
But
Toni,
thank you
thank
guys.
you.
Till the next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.